So for this video, we're going to be having two different versions of the Hitch peg. Remember, you only need to make one of them, so pick whatever one works the best for you. So we're going to start with our 2D sketch on our XY plane, and we're going to have this start with our tallest height dimension. So we're going to go from our center, going up at 90 degrees, and we can look at our dimension here, which is, let's see, 0.65. All right, and you can see how this right here is a line. I need an arc, so I can hit the escape tool to get out of that. And I am going to change this line into a center line. All right, so make sure that when you're doing your center line, you don't have lots of them all around. So make sure that it's unselected when you grab your next line. So I'm going to place in this bottom edge and then go up for my next height. My next height right here is 0.5. So I have 0.5. And then this line I'm going to draw pretty far over. The exact dimension for that is not important right now. Now we're going to click on our dimension tool and then our line, our center line, and then we're going to move it down. So for this, we can see that we want our bottom diameter. Our bottom diameter for this one is 0.25. If you happen to misclick and only get this line by itself, you can just divide your 1/4 inch in half, and that'll be an 1/8 inch. And if you want to know the value for that, that is 0.125. So either way of placing the value is totally fine. Just because I have the center line, it pulls it in with this diameter tool, or diameter symbol. Next, I'm going to show you how to use the arc. I like to use the center point arc. I find it a little bit easier than using the 3-point arc. And then for tangent arc, I don't think I really have used it on anything. So when you're doing this, you see this dotted line, avoid that dotted line. And then the green dot, you're going to want to avoid that, because if so, your center point is going to be stuck right here or right here. And because we want it to kind of move around freely while we're putting the dimensions in, you don't want to have that. So I'm going to click. I'm going to click on here. And sometimes you can get it to latch on right there if you click. Sometimes I have an issue with that, so I just like to extend it so they overlap, and then use the trim tool, trim them both up. All right, I'm going to press home on my keyboard so we can zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to click on dimension, click on our number, and we can see that we have our surface radius right here. So we have R for radius, S for surface, so that is our surface radius. So our number value for that one is 0.208. All right, we can finish sketch, revolve around, and because we have the center line pre-selected, Autodesk Inventor knows exactly what we want to revolve around, and we only have one profile, so we can automatically select that. So here is our first part. So I'm going to make the same part just in a different way. So I know I have a pop-up error. I'll figure out why that's there later. So we have our 2D sketch, XY plane. And this time I'm not going to turn my line into a center line. I'm just going to put in my tallest height dimension. So we have 0.65. And then my line tool again. And now going up for my next dimension is our 1/2 inch. And again, doesn't really matter how far we go over. All right, and our center line. That is to make this dimension exactly the same one that we have on our paper. So we have 1/4 inch. All right, and this time I'm going to use the circle tool. So again, miss the dotted lines, don't get the green dot, get it right in the middle, and place it in. So now I can use the trim tool and just trim up all the extra. And just put in our surface radius dimension, just like before, 0.208. And actually, I'm going to show you what happens when we don't have this center line, when we revolve. So when we revolve, it doesn't know where to click. So because this is pre-selected red, you know it's ready for you to pick where you're revolving around. You just click on it and it automatically goes the way you want it to. So let's look at our parts side by side, and they look the same. Alright, so multiple ways we can do the same exact part. Remember, you only have to make one of these. You do not have to make both.